everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're excited today. We are diving into the world of Bridgerton. Bridgerton's back, and we're going to talk about season 4, part 1. It's going to be interesting to hear what we have to say about it, our different perspectives, and we'll be very curious what you think of it and what you think of the different storylines that they have. This is, of course, based on the third Bridgerton novel, An Offer from a Gentleman. It's the 4th season. Yeah, it's going to be fun to talk about. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Jasmine's here.
Hello, everybody.
How are you doing?
I am doing good. It is February. It is love around here, Valentine's
Yeah.
month. We got some Black History Month happening, celebrating 100
Yeah.
years of Black excellence. Um,
Nice.
and just getting excited for, movies to come out, some Valentine's Day movies that are popping up. So
Yeah.
you're gonna hear something from the Mahogany cast really, really soon, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that we get an episode coming up, maybe a vintage movie or something like that would be fun.
We,
Yeah.
we are, but we are going to be filming a movie that's coming out actually tomorrow
Mm.
on Amazon Prime. So you're going to hear from us in another
Oh,
after
that's
Valentine's Day. You're going
good.
to hear from us. We're going to
I didn't
celebrate by filming on Valentine's Day.
I didn't know about that. That's
Valentine's
great.
Day.
Good. Well, I didn't know that you were a Bridgerton fan until a couple of months ago when we were talking and that you and we talked about it and I was like, oh, okay, we'll have to have you on for our episode. Have you watched all these 4 seasons?
Disclaimer. Let me tell you what happened. See, what had happened was I started off strong from the beginning when it actually dropped on
Yeah.
Christmas Day, 2020.
Yep.
Those moments of time. I got
Yeah.
season 1. Yes, season 2. Somehow I jumped over season 2, got to Queen Charlotte, went around the corner with the season 3. Somehow season 2 is still posted. And like, you still haven't watched me yet. But if I watch it, I know I'm going to probably flip tables and like be happy about it. But that is on my disclaimer for all of
Oh,
your.
so you haven't seen season 2, huh?
No, I saw the Cliff Note
Okay.
version of it. But
Oh, okay.
it is on my radar to say sit down and watch it because I know it's going to give excellence to understand why
Mm.
people have mixed reviews about season 3 and
Yeah.
4.
Well, season 3, so frustrating because I think part 1 was actually really solid. Their chemistry was really good. You end with that carriage scene that was super fun. And then they just tanked it in part 2. It was so frustrating
Oh,
in part 2 to have them fighting on their wedding. Like that's not what Bridgerton fans want. What on
honest,
earth? And then to have Colin sulking for 3 episodes and not even enjoying his honeymoon, I was completely frustrated by
to,
that.
to this day,
Uh,
I keep telling myself to this day, I wish they would have like kept Lady Whistledown's identity a secret because y'all always will understand in season 4 because
yeah.
I'm just sitting here like she should have just been a secret to the end
Because
and
the thing is, though, in the book, Colin is mad at Penelope, but he doesn't let that stop him from loving her.
Mhm.
Like you can be mad at someone and still love them,
That is true.
you know? And like that's more romantic for someone to say, like, I'm mad at you, but I am 100% committed to you and I love you.
Right?
Like
Because
that's more
remember,
romantic. So
yeah,
it's so frustrating. And I have to say, in this episode of this pod, I don't know if this will necessarily be that long, because I even debated about should we even do it because I have very little to say about anything that happens beyond the main couple and their relationship in this season 4, part 1. I could care less about almost every other plot line except for that main couple. But luckily, that's a lot of this. That's a lot. It's probably 75% is that main couple. So I'm kind of torn a little bit. We'll see how they end it, because
yeah,
they have a lot of kind of messy stuff to work out in part 2. So I'm not giving my
definitely.
final opinion until I see part 2. But yeah, I mean, this might be I was thinking, we said that, oh, we'll do a deep dive into part 1. This might be like a medium dive.
This might
Not a
be
deep dive,
this might be
medium dive.
a comedic deep dive. I'm on the comedic
Yeah.
side of things. I have things to say.
Yeah.
I've been following people who have read the books, and like, disclaimer, you guys, these books have been written between 20 to 30 years ago
Yeah.
in that landscape. So, and also try to reread it in our 2020
Well,
era.
I mean, this is the An Offer from a Gentleman, I think is the hardest book to adapt
Mm.
because of the Cinderella kind of elements to it. It's just it feels so different than anything else. And also, like you're saying, being kind of outdated, certain elements are tough for a modern audience to take,
Mhm.
particularly in the book. He asks her to be his mistress a lot more than, I mean, they only do it once. So that's what I'm saying. It means to see how they handle part two,
Mhm.
because you understand why he's doing that and why he's saying that, but it's just not as swoony. It's not as romantic as
Mhm.
some of the other books and movie and shows. So yeah, it's an interesting thing, but yeah, let's dive in and talk about it.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
We have this one is telling Benedict's story. So they skipped over this book and went right to book 4 and so now they're doing book 3.
Mhm.
And like last season, they completely wasted Benedict. That whole threesome plot was so stupid. And they haven't known what to do with him. And so here they have him coming in as this like rake. He's the
He's been a rake since season 1, you guys.
he's
Let's keep
the
it
he's
real.
yeah, he's the rake, he's the ne'er-do-well. And I kind of wondered at first if they were going to make Benedict's story the queer love story, because they had
Mhm.
developed that in his character, and I think it would have fit this whole Cinderella narrative. It would have, I think, made some sense.
Yeah, and he would have had like a whole mistress on the side, which was a guy. And then also a lot
Yep.
of people were rooting for Eloise to be the queer one because right now
Yeah.
there's this boycott about season 5.
Yeah, and I'm frustrated. Well, see, season 5, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it, because they've already introduced her love interest with Philip, and we met him briefly. I wonder if we'll see him at all this season, even a cameo kind of a thing.
Mhm. Oh yeah, that is true.
Because Eloise's book is kind of structured a little bit like Jane Eyre. She goes up there to help him. He's been widowered,
Mhm.
and she goes to help him. And in helping him with the kids, they fall for each other.
Mhm.
So that's a tricky dynamic, because you have sort of an employer. I mean, she's not technically working for him, but you could get weird quick.
Yeah,
And but
about
but
that.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. I am very irritated about what they're doing, Francesca.
That part.
Like, it makes me sad, because her relationship with Michael is such a strong relationship. He's probably my favorite of all of the Bridgerton guys, because of the yearning that he feels, and he has to watch Francesca be with his cousin. He can't do anything about it. And not that you can't do that with a with a female Michael, you can do some of that, but you can't do you can't do the same kind of story because she wouldn't have inherited the property. She wouldn't have been as much a challenger to John. And the thing that's frustrating is that at the very least, I wish they had made John and Francesca's relationship meaningful. The fact that they've gone this whole pinnacle plot was very annoying to me, and because Francesca's relationship is supposed to be with Michael is supposed to be a second chance romance, a second chance at love after she didn't think she'd have another love after John, but then this happens and it kind of catches her off guard, and so to see her not be passionate about John makes me sad.
No, definitely agree. Like I'm following some people on IG who are rereading the books and like letting us give us like the clip note version of
Yeah,
how they're gonna be handling the next few books because between
yeah.
Eloise and Francesca, because number one of the people I follow, she even said it for Ellie's book, like there's a lot of SA happening, like, with not they like, really like just like the way is written in the book, of like the in that sense. I'm like, what? And
I wouldn't say SA, but like he is kind of like similar to a Rochester and Jane
yeah.
Eyre, kind
Yeah.
of
So
a
they
thing,
were
like
like
a
agreeing
little
with that, like,
bit.
how are they
Yeah.
gonna handle this? Like, this is like what's gonna happen? Like, and then Ari, like I said, for Francesca's one, for her book, everyone's not liking the change for it. This is very critical between like
Because
her
it's not
infidelity.
just that it's a woman, it fundamentally changes the whole
Oh God,
story,
yeah. And
especially the way they're handling it, making her not get the pinnacle, making her not as invested, not, already kind of looking over at Michaela. She never did any of that with Michael. She was, she had to be kind of convinced to even give him a shot, even after John had died. And so like, and I understand people that are like, oh, come on, it's their first time doing a queer love story. I can appreciate that. But I think you're also allowed to be sad when an entire character, because it's not just that they have changed a few things as they've done in all of the
yeah,
adaptations. They literally are just eliminating his character. So I think you're allowed to be sad about that.
yeah, everybody is mourning that, and the fact that like this is crucial to her story. Now you're changing her actual story. You're changing
Yeah.
her path, and you're saying, "Oh, just bringing the woman in, like, because as women, we
Yeah.
know how to find our sex drive, all the stuff like that." No, this story was meant to be placed for a reason.
Yeah.
Julia wrote this story or this character in this plot for a reason, and
Yeah.
I know she gave creative, because the rights and everything, but for this story to be just like, oh, we don't like this story, we're cutting it because we want to make it, 21st century, like, because everybody's blend it. If I wanted this type of story, we could have got this story in Queen Charlotte with the two guys.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
I
Yeah.
want their story
Or
before I want this one.
Or even, like I said, with Benedict, that would have made way more
Yes.
sense than with Francesca. So, and I don't know anybody that likes the Bridgerton books that doesn't have Francesca's book very high up in the ranking. It is by
So
far
they have it high up.
one of
People
the
are saying
most
that.
popular of the books, and so it's frustrating. But really, like I said, I thought all of the other plots aside from our main relationship were very weak. Like, so you have a whole plot with Lady Violet and her relationship with this Lord Anderson.
I love that.
And the problem that I have with this whole plot is that he has no personality. Like, I want some kind of spunk. I want him to argue with her about something, have a different opinion, he's just like, okay, we'll do that. Okay. You want to sit here? Okay. You want to, like, I want some personality. He's so bland.
I know, but we have to remember, like, we kind of got that little bit of like that fire with like Simon from season one, like how angry he got. But we also have to remember this is a black man in like in this time period. Like we don't think like to portray
Yeah.
like he's the angry black guy in that scene, but he has like this properness to him, kind of like he's like the opposite of his sister. If you think This is more fight
Yeah,
scene.
I mean, this show doesn't really dive into race relations. They did a little bit in Queen Charlotte, but
Mhm.
not very much. It's kind of it's kind of like a fanfic version of it's not like you see slavery. You don't see any. I guess they didn't have slavery in this time in England, but you don't see like the darker elements of race relations really at all, or any real darker elements.
It's
Um,
undertone depending on the character or depending on the position. You kind of have that undertone, but other than that, it's supposed to
not
be this
much,
utopia
not
of like
much.
we're here, like this has always been here, and
I just find him extremely bland. I think he is just boring, and I just want him to have some personality.
so the way I put it in my head is think of him when he was playing his character as Dr. Fasolier in season 8 of Once Upon a Time, and put
Hmm.
his brain and stuff into his mindset as Lord Anthony. You'll be okay.
Like he's a handsome man,
It is.
and I don't even hate their chemistry.
You
I
want something
just,
more oomph. You
I
want more.
want him to have some personality. I want him to have some opinions. I want him to like banter a little bit with Lady Violet a little bit. But no, he's just like, okay, you want to do that? Okay, let's do
I,
that. You
I
want to
think it's
sit
more of
here?
the
Let's sit here.
patience.
Like, come on, like have some opinions.
No, I get it and I understand you. Writers, hear us. But also I
Yeah.
understand like the other side why he's doing that because the patience of Violet who hasn't had her garden bloomed in like eons. I get the guy. That's why I guess he was more
Yeah.
patient. That's why he's in that
And
character wonder like I don't know what to do. Just like, yes, like I'm being patient. But
so,
baby, we gotta
I
break
don't know. So then another plot that was very annoying is I thought Eloise's plot was very annoying. So they can't figure out what to do with her. She's kind of a third wheel wherever she goes. And I thought, okay, well maybe they had kind of set her up, certainly in season 2, they set her up as this sort of emerging activist. And then they
Mhm.
moved away from that in season 3, but there's no reason they couldn't pick that up again and have her kind of just that would be interesting. That'd be a good character. Or maybe now that her and Penelope have kind of made up, that they could do something together, scheme together to she could be Penelope's ears for finding the gossip now that she's exposed, that she can't something like that. But no, instead they give her as being sort of the mentor to Hyacinth, and all that means is her criticizing Hyacinth the whole time. Everything she does is lame, and everything she does is bad, and everything she does is wrong. And when Hyacinth finally says, I just think you only think about yourself, I was like, absolutely, thank you for saying that. That was 100% true. And I mean, I love Hyacinth, and her book is also one of my favorites. That won't be for a while, but she was just unpleasant and rude. And it's like you think that you'd have a little bit more compassion for your sister who's trying this new thing, and you would, instead of just being annoying. She was not. I was frustrated with Eloise.
Right? Like where's Daphne and Francesca in
Yes.
this
Oh my
whole thing?
gosh, you needed Daphne so bad
Because
for
Daphne
these
would probably would just
scenes.
like checked her like why are you doing this? I understand you don't want to be in society, that you want to be a Spencer. We understand that, but don't do that to our little
Yes.
sister. She has hopes,
Yes.
she has dreams. She wants to be in a house. She wants to be married. She wants to do all these fun debutante things.
Ugh.
And you're trying to crush her dreams because you do not want to participate. You do not want to be involved in it.
Yeah.
It's called. If you want to do that, go travel for a year. No, see, do what Colin did.
Just do
Go travel.
something, find something. And it's like, yeah, and Daphne was so needed in this 4-part one, especially with everything with Francesca. I
Yes,
mean, because
I
this
felt
is the
bad for
same arc
her.
that she went through. And the fact that Lady Violet couldn't see that there's something going on here, and she didn't say, oh my gosh, I had this literally the same conversation with Daphne. Here's what I should have told her that I'm going to tell you, or here's how I'm going to try to help you, is very frustrating. And the fact that they just like eliminated Daphne, they don't even try to like name drop her or bring her up or anything. And
Nothing.
because in the books, Daphne is kind of one of the main leaders of the family, being the oldest daughter, and she also has a lot of kids. So she would be somebody that definitely Francesca would have talked to for sure. And
Hmm.
and so to have her gone and not even mentioned, and then to have to have Anthony gone, who's the Viscount. He's the other co-leader of the family. And I know we got a little peek. They're going to be back for part 2, but still to have both of them gone, you really do feel it. And it makes them rely on Colin, and like Colin and Benedict, Colin and these don't have that kind of relationship.
You don't.
So he's not somebody who is like a natural leader.
He follows the status quo of things. Like,
it doesn't work.
I think that's, and like, I didn't care if there had been a letter sent to Daphne and a letter came back corresponding saying, hey, sister,
that could have worked.
Boy, like, hey, I understand like the pinnacle of it all, and just walk with her through that, because it was always been taboo to talk about sexuality and understanding that. And
and my understanding, and I could be wrong, is that Phoebe, that she didn't want to be written out of the show. Unlike I think that Jonathan Bailey's just like super, super busy.
Yeah.
But I think that she would be open, from what I've heard, to being in the season, at least nominally, a little bit. But they're being cheap. They're not wanting to have, as big of a cast. They're not wanting to spend. And so they haven't had her in for 2 seasons, and you really felt it. It was a problem. And just what they came up with for most of these characters to do was weak. And especially, like I said, Eloise was very frustrating. And I was happy when Hyacinth was like, all you think about is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's frustrating. Another set of characters, and these, I think they're probably in the books, but they're not like I can't remember if they're in the books or not, but they're not major, is the Mondricks. I mean, this is just, they are so boring. Why can't they give them something interesting to do? Give them a plot, like have them, they spent so much time on whether she wanted to be the Queen's lady in waiting. I don't get, like, that's not interesting. That's not fun. That's not spicy. That's not, like, why do I turn on Bridgerton? It's not to have endless boring conversations with Lady Danbury and Mondrick about their jobs. Like, that's not interesting.
Like, let something serious happen where like we have to find a new king or something, or the queen be replaced. Like, okay, this serious, but that I feel like they could have did more. I know they were really a key to first season for sure. I thought they would grow. I know they were growing in rank, but I feel like they just needed someone.
They just inherited the money, and then they've had nothing for them to do.
Like
they had like a little bit of conflict. I think it was last season with him. Like, is he going to have to close down his club, his gentleman's club? There's like something there, but just not much. They really have not given us anything interesting with the Mondricks. It is so bland.
Please
and
do
boring.
better, y'all. Writers do better for that, because they're very
so frustrating.
Just if you want to push them into royal status, do that, but please don't make it boring. Please don't make it like, I don't want to be a lady, lady in waiting. And I'm like, come on, you guys, do better.
Yeah, make it like a plot. Like, maybe she has a baby, or maybe I don't know, like, I'm not a writer, but come up with something better than, do I want to take this job to help Lady Danbury? That's not interesting. And then, like, what a waste of Queen Charlotte. You're supposed to believe that this woman that we saw as this tower of strength in her own series, right? That now she is whiny and weepy and doesn't want to be left alone, and is controlling Lady Danbury, doesn't, for not allowing her to leave. Like, you're supposed to buy that this is the same woman that we saw not that long ago, and that we've seen be pretty strong throughout most of the series. She was terrible.
It was like she had a flashback of her first season, like of her spinoff, and like I hearing the lines. I'm like, oh yeah, they came from season 1, like when she was a younger version. Like,
I wanted her to. Where was that strength? Where was that? Like, she was petty. She was whiny. She was annoying in the season, and just not the strong character that we have come to see. That it was just such a boring plot. Like, who's going to
And
be her lady in waiting? And oh, Lady Danbury can't leave, and don't leave me. Oh my gosh, it was so boring.
I think I've been more sold if they would have said that George got worse or he already passed away, wherever. Like, okay, George already died, or he's,
Yeah,
and I would have believed where, please don't leave me. I would have got that. I would have been like, okay.
yeah, I agree.
I would have been sold on that. Like, hey, like George's not doing good. Like, please don't leave me. And I would have understood that and had that connection, how they use some of the dialogue from her season, from season one. I would have got that.
Yeah.
George already left me. He passed. Like, please don't leave me too. Like, and I would have understood, but
Well,
that
and
conversation never happened.
there's no problem with her being sad that Lady
No,
Danbury wants to leave. That's fine.
I was
But
heartbroken for her.
but to be all controlling and whining, and to have this whole plot about who's going to be the lady in waiting, I just could
Mm.
care less. It was just not good.
I guess like I was telling like one of my friends today and like other people on like IG and like in the comment section, I feel as though like this whole series for Bridgerton should have never been only 8 episodes per book. Honestly, if they could have done this correctly. They could have made this into a syndicated 24 episode, broke up
Yeah.
the books, 12 episodes per book, spaced out each week, just leave, or like, release it every week and have a break maybe in like 1 or 2,
But
weeks, and it continues to one where they could have filmed everything, still add it as they go. It would have been great. And then they could have ended it. I told my friend this today. They could have ended this whole like 4 season, been amazing, with the whole movie release trailer, everything. And you know how we got to Queen Charlotte? That could have been the whole movie for 2 hours. I would have went to the theaters. I would have
yeah.
sat there, laughed, cried, quote my way. That would have been Oscar right there for
Well,
y'all. But
I
y'all,
mean, I wouldn't want more episodes if they're going to be this boring.
I
If
think it
they're
would
going
have
to
been better
be
if they
this,
stretched it
yeah,
out and had a more kind of, like a daytime drama situation. They could have had
yeah,
it in that sequence,
yeah.
and that would have
I think
worked.
the frustrating thing is that season one was special, of course, because it is season
It
one,
is season
but
one.
also because it was truly unique. There had never been anything quite like it before. And
Uh,
and the book allowed that to be the case, because the first book, they get married very early on, right?
yes. Hmm.
And so you can have a more steamy relationship because they're literally married. Whereas, let's say in Anthony and Kate's book, he's engaged to her sister for most of the book. So it's obviously not going to be as steamy as the first book. But
Hmm.
there was something just really special, as I think, about like the eroticism in the first series, because it was really
Magical.
from a female gaze. It was really meant to be exciting and pleasurable
Mhm.
to women, and each season the show has lost some of that
Hmm.
along the way to these boring plot developments that I think they think are more important than the bodice ripping, sensual.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, we want to be more elevated than that. No, 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 no. You don't want to be elevated. That is the thing that made your show special. That is what
Hmm.
made you unique. Tons of shows have done the period piece, the class warfare, the gossip, the other stuff that has been done to death. What made your show special was that it was a sexy show for women, and predominantly, even if there were books that were about the male Bridgertons,
Hmm.
they were meant to be pleasing to women. They were meant to entertain women, and so making a lot of your female characters petty and judgmental and annoying, and like that's not what we signed up for on this show. We did not sign up in this show to have Eloise being, scolding her sister. We did not sign up to have the queen being irritating. We did not sign up to have Colin Bridgerton sleeping on the sofa for 3 episodes and pouting during his wedding. We didn't sign up for any of that. We signed up for a swoony, sexy, romantic show, and you get some of that. It's still
Fun.
there, but way less each season, which is very annoying and frustrating. And so anyway, we will talk about our main couple because that was the good part, but kind of getting the bad part out of the way. I mean, and then I thought for sure that with Daphne and Anthony both being gone, I thought, okay, they're going to give Penelope and Colin something really fun to do. No, they didn't. They didn't. Like they had they were basically like, we're here to give marriage advice and dating advice, whether it's Colin to Benedict, you have Penelope to Francesca. That's it. They had no story.
And I'm sorry though, as much as we love the carriage scene from season 3, I honestly did not need a carriage scene.
I agree.
Like, we understand they're newlyweds. We get that. We understand that. We see the lovey touchy. We get that. Or they try to do marriage advice, stuff like that, but it always got interrupted. Like, I would understand if I got it from maybe Daphne and Simon, maybe from Anthony and Kate, but y'all were not ready to give advice to Francesca.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they could have had her doing something. Like I said, if her and Eloise had been working together, so Eloise is getting all the gossip, she's still writing it, but then there's a lot of pushback. How she's going to deal with that? There was none of that. It was all just like, oh, from the Queen, tell us, dear reader. Like there was no story. There was nothing. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, so frustrated.
Like I told my friend, every time I told her, I'm like, I wish they would have still kept her identity secret, because all season, first half, people going to her, trying to get their name into the column. Like, that irks my nerve. Like, she has all this pressure and stuff. Like, girl,
yeah,
whoever made the decision to speed her book up, they should have made her book last, or made her identity last to get revealed later on.
Or they could have made it more interesting that I don't know how long you can really stretch out who is Lady Whistledown, but give it a different layer now. What if somebody's trying to blackmail her, or what if I guess we kind of had Cressida in the last season, but what if you had somebody who is trying to bribe her to put this in in your column to make my daughter maybe more attractive, or make it, maybe it'll make the scandal so someone will want to propose, will want to be married to her. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Just a plot, like a story, give it something to do. And
you know what? That is so true. I don't know why, but I want to talk about your other comment earlier. How when Bridgerton came out, it was just so effortless, so fresh and breast air. Nothing been like this. Yeah. To this day, I'm still mad at everybody almost 10 years ago for letting Shonda Rhimes' series still star-crossed bomb and got canceled barely only halfway through the first season. I'm still mad about that. That was the before Bridgerton. She started that before Bridgerton even hit. That was within a 3-year period.
Or what would have been fun is if you had Sophie you could come up with some convoluted reason that Sophie ends up confiding with Penelope. So she knows this big secret that, and what is she going to say in the column? Or is she going to keep that confidence? Is she that would be interesting. That would be fun. That would be exciting. But
now we get the main characters now, because I have a lot to say about this whole.
We get a little banter with the Queen and Penelope, and just and her being a guide to Francesca, which I agree with you was that is not who you would ask. No.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast. My name is BJ.
And my name is Me Too, and we promise this promo is worth it, so please don't skip ahead.
We're two judgy friends who put our judgmental skills to work for you. We review the pilot episodes of new and popular shows, and shows that our listeners request to answer your question, should I watch this?
Look, a lot of us are spending a lot more time at home, and yes, we should be reading and trying new projects and enriching ourselves, but does anything beat binging a great show?
Let us take the guesswork out of deciding what your next show will be. Tune in to The Pilot Podcast at thepilotpodcast.com.
So anyway, all of that was lame. But now let's talk about the good stuff.
Okay, let's
Okay,
talk about
so
this. I have
we
a lot to
have
say about this couple. I have a lot to say.
okay, so
A
we
lot of
have Luke.
comparisons. A lot.
Yes.
Writers, come to the room. Come to the room. Writers. We have a
So,
conversation.
so we have Luke Thompson playing Benedict, and we have Yurin Ha as Sophie. And I think that they have been very good, both of them. And I was nervous because, like you said, that Benedict's character is kind of unlikable because he keeps wanting her to be his mistress, and it's just like a little bit weird. And we'll see how they handle that in part two because they just brought it up at the very end of this part. So we'll see if how they handle it. But I think they've made him very endearing in this part one.
I think so. I think when just them starting off with his POV, I thought maybe finally we're gonna finally get a POV version from quote unquote Prince Charming and actually get
Yeah.
a version of of the Cinderella story. And all I
Yeah.
gotta say is before we continue, not only did whoever read the book for this particular season, but also they did watch Ever After. They did watch a
Yeah.
Cinderella
I can see
story.
that. Yeah, I can see
They
that.
did watch both Roger Hancock's Cinderella, the Julie Andrews version, and the Brandy version. And
Uh-huh.
honorable mention, someone probably, as a cult classic, probably watched the episode of Happily Ever After, Fairy Tales for Every Child, of the Cinderella version of that episode. So to include what's happening in this series right now. Because
Yeah.
everything's about comparisons right now. Because Benedict is really being compared to Austin Ames right now. And I'm kind of wondering, will Austin Ames take a DNA test to see if he's related to the Bridgertons? Because I just need to know. There's memes going around right now about this.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of truth in that. And the overall like setup of this sort of Cinderella narrative, I think was very well done. I think that Katie Long playing Lady Armita
Hmm.
Gunn, I think that she's very good.
Oh
I
yeah,
like her a
definitely good.
lot. Yeah. And the sister Rosamund Lee, that's Michelle Mao, and Posey Lee,
Hmm.
Isabel Loy. I think that they are very good.
No, definitely. They fitting into the mode of these characters and just bringing not only the cartoon to life, but also like the other version of Cinderella to life. And they're borrowing from these different, you know, you know, eras and when they were created to create their own. And I
Yeah.
just love the fact that we're getting this version from them and just seeing how it all comes to play. And like, I don't know, just me, maybe because I've watched, if you guys have not watched, Happily Ever After Fairy Tales for Every Child is a great television series that HBO produced back in the 90s. It has major like actors, actresses, like celebrities have comedians, famous name people have been in like Raven Simone, Whoopi Goldberg, Sinbad, you
What's
name
it
it. You
called?
have Happily Ever After Fairy Tales for
Oh.
Every Child. And it talks
Oh.
again, it goes through all the stories, but from different cultures. So
Oh,
every
that's nice.
yeah, so every childhood story that we read is told from a different culture background, and
That's
it's
kind of like
amazing.
in the 80s, I would watch in early 90s would watch fairy tale theater,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of a similar idea without the world component, but telling the using stars and telling the fairy tales. So yeah, I think that they did about as good a job as you could do in doing this story. Like it still feels a little weird to me to have this like Cinderella narrative, but I really liked the sisters and the stepmom, and then her dad, and just the way that they worked in that whole
Mm-hmm.
story and making her basically a bastard child, and
Mm-hmm.
which helps you understand. I mean, that's in the book as well, but it helps you understand why she would not want to be the mistress.
Yes,
You know, if
exactly.
that she was literally the daughter of a mistress, and the way that she ended up being treated. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that their chemistry was very strong. So the whole part in episode 3 when they're at the cottage
Oh my gosh,
is
I'm so mad
just
right
so
now.
much fun. The banter between them, everything with the crab trees, everything with everybody watching, of course, and then our swimming scene.
Hmm. I
That
just
was
need to know
great.
who was in charge of editing because the first 10 minutes was yours all black the first 10 minutes, like them in the carriage and stuff going to the cottage and stuff. Because I'm sitting here like I can't see them. I'm over here looking at my screen like,
Oh.
what's going
Well,
on?
it is dark, but
It is dark, but I need to see y'all still. I'm over here like,
See.
I'm sitting here looking like at the screen like, Miko, can you see? Because Miko was watching it with me, you guys. Like laying down the computer watching it with me. I'm like, son, can you see this? I can't see this. You have better eyes than I do. Like, help me, help your mom.
Yeah.
But I
But
do love like the atmosphere of it all. Like I said, it's
when
moments from the other Cinderella like movies,
yeah.
and like we can see it. And
And just like I thought Luke did a very good job of like building up that yearning of really feeling like he was always just dying to get over there and kiss her and talk to her. And I mean, I love the fact that when she's assisting him when he has the like sepsis with the wound and everything, and he says, kiss me, kiss me, kiss me. I mean, it was just very good. It was very well done.
but I do have a question though, because
Uh-huh.
you know how like everything is flowing and we have the masquerade ball. In the book, it did say it was a 2-year period before they saw each other again. It felt like
Yeah,
it was just
that's
like
true.
it was like a week later. It was just say like
Yeah.
2 years later. I wanted that. I felt it was just like it just skipped over 2 years and just made next week.
That's true. That's a good
And
point.
that and,
They
that, and that's
do
something
in the
that was
book.
kind of lost in the plot. Like
They have
he waited
years.
2 years. 2 years
Yeah.
turned to like a whole 2 days later. Like a whole
Yeah. I mean, and
like,
he
oh,
probably
weird.
would recognize her. That's that close. That's soon.
No one,
Yeah. I
no
mean,
one
but
actually
I
mentioned
do
this.
think that the masquerade scene was very swoony. It was very fun, very well done.
Very, very,
There,
very, Cinderella story,
yeah. And it was fun
have,
to see her, like everybody at the servants' quarters get real excited. And, oh, was it, an amazing? And
mhm.
all of that worked very well. And so, like I said, anytime it would get back to them and their story, I was digging it. And then, like you said, in episode 3, when you have the swimming scene, and he's like, "So you were spying?" I was not spying.
She sure wasn't like it's just like she was minding her business, walking around.
Yeah,
You out there feeling, butt naked. You need to
yeah.
get to Luke,
I
bruh.
cannot help but notice
You
you.
have been like pale. I'm making sure because I know we have like our Tulip Fall happening right now in California in the Central
Yeah.
Valley, so it's hard for us to get our sun in here and there. But Luke, I'm gonna need you to get some like some vitamin D. Because, yeah,
But
like
when he says that I wouldn't be offended if you came after me, I did not. And a thorough explanation is not always the most convincing.
that part.
That was
But
great.
but
Well,
a
and
lot
it's also so swoony because he beat up the cat, Lord Cavender.
yes,
My mother taught me how to act around maids. That was good. It makes you like him,
yes,
especially
because yeah,
if he's going to be somebody we're going to end this section on "Will you be my mistress," which to a modern audience is kind of unlikable.
and
Then they really needed to have done all of that stuff leading up to it so that they could earn that moment.
and I think they kind of was doing a little like I was watching it and talking to my friends about it as I watch each episode. They only barely brushed it a little bit of like, yes, we have mistresses. I know some guys have mistresses, but
Yeah,
I feel like this season they're doing a disservice to understanding what a mistress is in that time period. The fact that a mistress is still going on today as it was back then. And the thing about it is like we have to really realize that the Bridgerton, they're nobles. They're not part of like the royal hierarchy in that sense because there are mistresses, but they have different titles when it comes to being a mistress, where they're sacrificing their love and X, Y, and Z just to be
yeah,
comfortable. And then while they have like they're sacrificing their love for political
yeah,
with the other woman. And we have to understand that and have that conversation. A better one. I know
yeah.
they talked about it in the men's lounge, but it was just like the 5 seconds. Like this need to be had because to this day, they're having these mistresses.
Well,
It's
and the mistresses were a committed relationship. It wasn't just that. But the problem is that she's going to still see it as not enough of a commitment because her dad was committed to her, but once he's gone, then that's it. It's over. So
Mhm.
Sophie's going to be very nervous about that.
Mhm. Yeah, like you
But
mentioned, like in the book, like he persistently was asking about, being mistress, and that was how they were raised in a society.
Yeah.
Like to this day, in the 21st century, there are still
They definitely could have given more context because I saw a lot of people online like very disgusted, like they
no,
couldn't believe
it
that.
was
But I
disgusting.
mean, they couldn't really get around it. The whole title of the book is an offer from a gentleman. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, it's the offer
Not
to be
have
a
that be an
mistress.
element?
And
But
I think hopefully he could break that status quo. I know he was talking with his mom and like in the trailer about like, remember you can't marry her because it'll bring honor, be shame to our family, and it's kind of like stepping on the status quo. Like for instance, like have you
yeah.
watched the movie Belle? Have you watched the movie Belle?
Yes, that's a
Yes.
great
Yes.
example.
Let's talk about it
Great
because
example. Yeah.
perfect example because mind you, Dido and her cousin. Okay, Dido's dad claimed her, like, because the cousin was talking about, well, they're not going to marry you. Look how you look. Like,
Yeah.
these are real things. And then the name of that was like,
And
wait, my dad claimed me. Your dad
yeah.
didn't.
From
And
Benedict's perspective, he sees it as a solution
hmm
to this problem because he doesn't want to lose her. And so it's like, well, this is a way to because I love her, but of course, that Sophie's coming from the other perspective of having been the child of that kind of union. So it makes
hmm
sense. But I just thought they did such a good job of making Benedict endearing and sweet and flirty and their chemistry was so good between Yaren and Luke. And of course, it's all leading up. I mean, of course, you have the swimming moment and the kiss there, which was amazing.
of course.
And then you have there were two great scenes in hallways. The one where she's looking in and she
Yes.
sees him, and then, and that was great. And it's like he knew that she was watching somehow, and
hmm
which was great. And then also the scene where she fixes his button
Yes.
and you knew he
Yes.
wanted to kiss her so bad. And that was great. And then of course the scene where she pours tea on him.
Yes.
And because
Because
he's
after
meeting
you
with this
figure it out.
other woman,
hmm
and oh, it's so good.
You gotta be careful who, we list to go investigate. See, Eloise, she should have been investigated, not
Yeah, you're right.
him.
She should have.
And
Yeah.
the gossip, not the gossip, but it's the tea that everyone's talking about online as well, is that someone her name is Rachel, but she says her name is Rachel too. About that. She says, as an artist, you're telling me he didn't pay attention to pay attention to the details? As an
Yeah.
artist, he's drawing her for 2 years in the book. In the TV show, he drew her for over like a weekend. But
Yeah.
how he's not paying, he's looking for the lips, he's looking for the eyes, but he can't put two to two together. And I'm trying to figure out why. Like that would happen with Austin Ames. How you not gonna
Yeah.
put two to two together? Her voice, her mannerism. How are you not clicking that together?
Yeah.
What's
It's
going
true.
on? You're
It's
supposed to be an
true.
artist. You
So it's
are
gonna
a
be
drawer.
and I love how she is very encouraging of his art.
That is true.
Which is
Yes.
very sweet and endearing. And so, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they handle part two. I'm not giving my full judgment on the series until I see part two because they whiffed it
That's gonna
so
make it
bad
different.
in part two of season three. But I hope that they keep this likability. I hope they keep this chemistry. I hope they give them swooning moments. We've seen that they're going to have the tub. I don't know if you saw that teaser today with
Wait, that
Benedict
is actually a teaser. I know I saw a teaser with like Anthony in it, like maybe a day ago, but there's a new teaser.
No. So this is a new one that just came out today with him because there's a famous scene in the book with Sophie in a tub, and they have him go walking around the tub and the line of the tub, yeah, it was really good.
You better redeem us, okay? Because the way Rachel's
Yeah.
describing this, it better be redeemable because I know a lot of the book girlies out there. I'm an active reader. I haven't got a chance to read a series because last time I read series, I almost, slapped people.
I
But
think you like it. It's very readable. It's not
okay.
hard reading. It's
Yeah.
very like quick and yeah.
Okay, because I'll have to put down like my werewolf books to participate. But some people, but some people out there are saying how they're going to handle the scene when she gets arrested. Like these are going to be real.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Like
That's true.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Yeah, I mean that is a big scene.
Yeah,
in
sorry,
the
spoiler alert,
book.
but that's a big scene. If you want the clip
No,
notes,
it's true.
T notes, and they're talking about these different
Yeah.
things, like how they're gonna compare this. Because, like I said, to this day, I'm still mad at the Twilight saga. I'm still mad at it. Like I have the on my shelf, guys. Kid you not. The one line that is not in book 4 for the movie, I threw the whole entire franchise away. How you gonna sit here and tell me after whole Edward and Jacob's beef? Mind you, I've been Team Jacob since the whole book series. I actually loved Edward in the books because of his sweaters. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, when he will take his daughter away, before the fight happens, he said, and I quote to Jacob, I remember this line, guys, verbatim. You are my friend, my brother, my son. That should have been like the kumbaya. They're coming together. They're whatever beat they've been having between getting the girl that they want. Did not exist in the movie. I said, threw it away. Don't make me Bridgerton. Please don't.
No, let's hope not. Well, let's talk though about the big moment, episode 4. He goes to try to find her because he's had it. He can't take it anymore, which is very swoony. He goes to her room and she's not there. She's going off to the pub with her friends, but she needs her coat or whatever. And so she's going upstairs. He's going downstairs. They meet in the middle and they have their huge makeout session. Yeah. And this was such a brilliant choice because literally he's going down he's the one on the high class going down to her. She's the one coming up, right? So, and then they meet in the middle. That was brilliant. That was really good. And of course it was super sexy and very, very passionate. And then he drops the "Will you be my mistress?" and then he can tell she doesn't like it. And I think we all threw it surprises him a little bit.
Sir, like I understand what you need to protect her, to give her security, give her a better life, not be but at what cost? Like right now you're telling us you're gonna choose. Yes, I want her to be safe. I want to love her. I want her to be my companion. But you're doing it in secret because you can't love her out loud. You have to hide her. Unless you go to like the lounge and you get to show her off. But in public eye, you have to hide her. You have to bring somebody else with like political alignment for you guys to keep your status. Yeah. And that's what he's battling right now. And a lot of people battled that back then and currently right now. Yeah. And these are the truths.
I forget who it is who says in the trailer that no woman wants to be hidden, no matter their station.
I forget who said. I forget who it is. Was it the mom or somebody said it in the
maybe it's the mom. I can't remember. But it's very, very true, and especially Sophie. And he can already sense that there's something special about Sophie, that she's not like your typical. Because I could be wrong, but I don't think that a lot of maids at that time would have known how to read, let alone be so well read as she is. They certainly
it does,
and so there's things about her that are very unusual, and so I think he's starting to kind of wonder and what what's happening. So that's going to be fun to see that all
also unfold. Violet picked up on that as well, and
yes.
Come to find out, like some maids were actually really high up on like what they read and stuff like that, especially I can't slavery to this, but some people who were in house got to learn, who were legitimate kids got to be, those things happen. Like Dido, perfect example for Dido. She got that say, you're gonna learn it. You're gonna be her maid, her cousin. That's true. Like, come on, but I'm glad that these conversations are happening. I'm glad people are asking about, what is a mistress and how is it pertaining to today's time and how it was
Mhm.
back then and how
Yeah.
those roles are still interchangeable to this day. I want
Mhm.
the conversation to keep going. I want people to still get educated. I want the show to keep, maybe bring somebody. I'm not sure they're having anybody in from like the UK who are in Noble and have that conversation and have that breakdown of like,
I mean, I don't think they really care about it being historically
no,
accurate because
oh
the books are not. I mean, the books are modern. I mean, as far as when they were written
yeah,
and when they were published and things like that. But so I don't think they really care that much about it being. I mean, they certainly don't care in the costumes. They don't care in the, a lot of
yeah,
the things. But I think that having your characters be sort of consistent and at least having the rules for the class and for the characters' behaviors be consistent within. So even if you're not going to care about it being particularly historically accurate, you want to have at least sort of the social rules that your characters are following to
That's
be consistent
yes,
and to be so that otherwise there's no tension. If one character can just do this and one character can just do this and one, then we're not going to have any tension because everybody can just do whatever they want. It's like total anarchy. And so anyway, I think it makes sense that he would see this as maybe this is a solution, but it also would make sense that he would see Sophie as being very unusual for a maid.
Yes.
And not your typical maid. And so that's, it's interesting. But then we also have these maid wars happening where
can we talk about that? Because
which is
I don't know
fun.
why.
And
I love the maid wars.
Yeah.
I love this tea, and I love the fact that it all started because of Sophie, because her stepmom kicked her out because she was handling business in the household, and
Lady Featherington not being
it.
willing to give Mrs. Varley the raise and giving her dresses, like that was so.
I would have thrown the back of her face, and then too, like, ma'am, you would, and then you would go out and go get some more dresses, but you come out, we don't have the funds to give us a raise. Yes, I want to step away. Yes, I'm gonna go work for the one who started the whole maid war situation, and I hope that she spills tea.
And then at the end, well, she's going to because she's working for the Penwitch. She's working for, you see her there that she's left. So that's going to be really
this will be a whole
fun.
Diabolical, like everybody's going to be reading about this, and you just added more to the fuel to the fire, and the fact that like secrets are going to be spilled. Penelope's going to read all the secrets being spilled, probably thrown at these parties. She's going to sit there like, what just happened?
Yeah. So there we go. I think we covered everything pretty well. I'm excited to see what happens with part 2, just because I do think that our lead couple, very strong. I enjoyed them a lot. So I'm excited to see what happens. Everything else, I will be very tempted to just skip ahead.
It's just
because they were so
another
lame.
season of Queen Charlotte already. At this rate, give me another season of Queen Charlotte. Like, I don't know why.
I thought that they had announced that, but then I think so I think I was mistaken. I thought they had announced.
I saw something about it, but I don't know. But right now we're just in a.
It's tricky though, because like with season 2, kind of, I don't know. I mean, what else is? I mean, you're just going to have more of George being sick and mentally unstable, and Charlotte. I mean, I guess you start to have Charlotte and all of her kids, because I think the real Queen Charlotte had like 16 kids, like a lot.
No, she had 16 kids. Some passed away, like stuff like that.
And I don't think any of them had an heir.
I think no, they did. No, I forgot which heir it was. Though one of them did have an heir. Cause I remember the show itself saying like, what was with child, but she didn't give birth yet. She was with child. But I have a question though, because you know how like Lady D'Angelo slept with like Violet's dad. Was she almost low key considered as a mistress per se?
The real life Queen Charlotte had 15 children. Okay. 13 of them survived.
Yes. She calls them, but I guess
it says here that so how many grandkids did Queen Charlotte have? That In 1870, when Princess Charlotte of Wales died, she was the only legitimate granddaughter of King George and Queen Charlotte.
Mhm.
Eventually, George and Charlotte's fourth son, Prince Edward, would have an heir, Princess Alexandra Victoria, who would later go on to become Queen Victoria. Okay, so I don't know. It's challenging. It's challenging.
Yeah,
But let us know what you thought of season 4. I've seen some people say it's the best season yet. I don't agree with that.
Well,
But
we saw it still up there with Rotten Tomatoes, but I do want a shirt that says, "You'll be having me for tea." I want that line on a shirt.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
That like y'all talking about. Okay, remember, okay, let's label it as it is. Season 1 was the spoon. Season 2 was Anthony's shirt. Season 3 was the carriage, and season 4 was definitely Violet, and that diabolical quote that is going to be the epic throughout the whole. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's her quote. That's the best part of the whole season. I don't care.
Well, let us know what you think. We'd love to hear in the comment section or on social media. And Jasmine, this is a lot of fun. How can people follow you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I will get back to Twitter eventually, but Instagram and Twitter at Shreem16, SHREEM16.
And you can check out our playlist with all of our Bridgerton content, including my mini review of part 1, if you want to take a listen to that. And then if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over the place and at KSL Movie Show right now. And then make sure you're following Hallmarkies podcast all over social media. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that. We also have our Patreon group, which is the biggest way you can support everything that we're doing. We talk about all different kinds of shows and we have a good time. Plus, we have the free episodes that are ad-free that for the patrons. We have the ad-free episodes that you can stream if you want, if you are a patron, and other cool benefits. So definitely check that out. And then we have the merch store where we have tons of fun designs, everything for your Valentine's needs, all there. Definitely want to check out the merch store. And that's everything. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.